there seems to be some meltdowns over in Mamdani, the progressive frontrunner.
So if you lie on your naturalization forms during the process of becoming an American, you don't get a pass on it. If it's discovered later, it needs to be looked at.
In New York that we are, as you said, frankly going to elect a communist. New York is in a situation it's going to end up bankrupt.
New York's mayoral race is spicing up next Tuesday, I think it is going to be. There seems to be some meltdowns over in Mamdani. The progressive frontrunner is a nice way of putting it. I'd say he's probably more of a communist. He now faces criminal referrals over foreign donations and questions even about his citizenship. Mamdani says it's all a smear campaign. It's an Islamophobic witch hunt, in his words. But the feds are taking it seriously, it seems. Rosemary Becchi is still with me, as is Blake Marnell. Mr. Bricksuit, this is just desperation, isn't it? Right, this guy's going to win. Yeah, he's got some crazy policies. Yeah, he's got some crazy friends. He is a massive lefty, and everyone's just melting down. Right, Blake?
I agree that it does look like he is going to win, but there are also serious concerns about whether or not he lied on his naturalization forms when he became a citizen.
That's a pretty low blow to go after someone's citizenship just because they're going to beat you in an election.
Look, and I'm not in favor of doing that or fast tracking it in advance of the election. If that's something that is an issue, it should be looked at and dealt with the same way it would be dealt for anybody else who lied to become an American citizen. So if you lie on your naturalization forms during the process of becoming an American, you don't get a pass on it. If it's discovered later, it needs to be looked at. That's all.
Isn't it just creating a stink before polling day?
Look, it should not be done before the election. Okay, so I agree that that's probably a little bit of. I would like it looked at afterwards.
Rosemary, there's a great line in the Ides of March, where a great film, George Clooney film about a Democratic primary, who says, "I don't care if the guy's got a gold mine doesn't have a gold mine in Liberia. I just want to hear him deny it for a news cycle." This is what we're seeing here with this stuff, isn't it? It's like, let's throw as much mud at the wall, see what sticks. The guy's clearly going to win. Let's see if we can have some fun with him.
You're probably right. Unfortunately, all these candidates are bad. And it's so sad that we are going down this path in New York, that we are, as you said, frankly, going to elect a communist. And it's just frightening.
I'm probably going to get in trouble with it.
No, it's just frightening that is going on in New York. And New York is it's on the verge of being self-destructing, frankly.
Brits have seen this movie before. The Brits have seen this play out. We had Jeremy Corbyn, hard left guy, because Hamas was his friend. He invited Hezbollah and Hamas to come to meetings in Parliament. He wanted to nationalise everything. He wanted to give everything away for free. He came very close to winning the election in 2017, but and he ended up destroying his entire political party. It led them to their worst electoral defeat in history. He was sucking up to Putin. I mean, we don't need to tell you this is a crazy idea, but a lot of Republicans, I keep hearing, they've come on this show and said it, is, let's it'll be fine if Mamdani gets elected, and then we can expose how crazy he is when he's in power. Where do you sit on that argument? I personally think it's crazy, but do you think that this might actually help the Republican cause to have such a poster boy for the hard left?
I actually do think it's crazy because, again, New York is in a situation it's going to end up bankrupt, frankly. He's talking about raising taxes, raising corporate taxes. You're driving out more companies.
Lots of people go to Florida pretty quickly.
Yeah, right? J.P. Morgan has more people employed in Texas now than they do New York City. Like, companies are fleeing New York City. I think the recent poll New York Post did said 26% of New Yorkers say they're going to leave if he's elected. And so that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, but there is precedent for the Republican candidate pulling out, right? Mike Bloomberg was given a clear run at it. That doesn't seem to be happening. But, one way you could stop it, stop Mamdani, is the Republican pulling out. Why has the president not picked up the phone and urged to pull out?
I'm not sure. I would have offered him a job somewhere.
Nice cushy ambassadorship. I think was one of the rumors. Blake, sorry, what do you... I keep calling you Brick. I can't help it.
Brick is fine.
Brick
is fine.
Do you get that a lot? Do people call you Brick?
Brick's fine, absolutely.
Mr. Brick?
Yeah, Mr. Wall.
Blake. Blake Brick, I like it. I like it. Why is the Republican still in this race if Mamdani is such a threat?
Well, Curtis Sliwa has a long history of representing New Yorkers, and it's his right to run. and he's not necessarily really being backed by the national party, so to
Yeah.
speak. So, you know, you can't really expect him to drop out. You know, I would have, back when there were three people running against Mamdani, and it was Adams and Cuomo and Curtis. I would have liked to have seen them come together and say, hey, what can we do to all join together to defeat this common threat to the greatest city in America and one of the greatest cities in the world? And perhaps then Curtis could have gotten some accommodations that he's not going to get if Mamdani's mayor, and he's not going to get if Cuomo's mayor, and he wouldn't have gotten if Adams was mayor. But if they had, all three of those people had gotten together and say, we're going to go united front, and we're going to do this, and Curtis is going to get this, and Mayor Adams is going to get that, it might have been a better path.
It's a fairly sorry state of affairs for, as you say, is one of the greatest cities on the planet. The incumbent mayor's being kicked, is out with a big cloud of corruption over him. The New York governor who had to resign in the middle of COVID over his sex and sleaze scandal is running. The other guy is a 35-year-old, untested, kind of slightly dubious commie, as we have.
He's been a citizen for less than 8 years, and he's got 4 years of experience in state government, and that's not the resume that makes you the mayor of the greatest city in America.
It's a pretty shoddy state of affairs all round, really. And the Republicans can't, the Republican guy is pretty kooky, isn't he?
It is. No, we've got...
What New York has done to deserve this?
We have got to get better candidates. We just have to start to recruit better people to run for office. We make it too hard for people. We really do.
While I've got both of you here, I want to pick up, it's a theme we've been looking at over the last few weeks. These increasing strikes on Venezuela by Donald Trump. Not very America first, I would argue, Brick. There's I've done it again, Blake. There's increasing concerns that these elections aren't legal. Donald Trump ran. You were at those rallies. Donald Trump ran on a platform of getting Americans out of forever wars, and it looks like he's about to start striking the Venezuelan coastline. How do you feel about that?
Look, the people that are running drugs into the United States, they're a terrorist organization, and the president is fully within his authority to interdict those shipments.
Is he though? Because there's a lot of people saying that he's
these are not just, the U.S. Navy is not in the Gulf of America just waiting for a boat to come by and then looking at it and deciding to knock it out of the water. Do you know that they are tracking those people from the very point of origin, from wherever they're leaving their coast, and then you know that they have intelligence that they're basing their targeting on. They're not just like, there's a boat, there's blue jugs in there, we better have a kinetic strike. They have to have intelligence that ties it to that. And there's no way that they need to say, we can't do anything about the drugs coming to America until they actually reach America. That's idiotic.
Rosemary, what do you agree? One minute until then.
So I disagree with you. I think this is part of his America First agenda. I think it's about keeping our families safe. I think it's about keeping drugs out of this country. I really do. So I really think it's a part of what people elected him to do.
And do you think that's a view widely shared within the base?
I do. I really do. Yes.
You're nodding.
Yes,
you
I
are
really
the
do.
physical representation of the MAGA base there. So if you're nodding, Blake, then you must be on something. Blake, lovely to see you again. Slightly longer on the show than your first appearance.
Yes.
But come back and see us soon in the run up to the midterms. Come back before then. Rosemary as well. Thank you very much, Rosemary Becchi there joining us. And come back and see us and let us know how. I know New Jersey's not far from New York, but listen, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say.